Hello Gemini, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Gemini, let's jump on in here. Let's start. We're going to start with pulling overall energy for your past, present, and future. So we're going to start with oracle cards, and then we'll dive into tarot to get a little bit deeper later on in this reading. But let's start with Gemini's overall energy for their recent past here. What has Gemini been dealing with? I like when the cards are a little bit more intentional, turning all the way around or hitting the table. You have You Are Worth It with Shift Your Energy. Interesting. Okay. So your past energy was pushing you into an energy shift. This You Are Worth It card to me represents that there are places in your life where I feel you are or have been to this point accepting quite a bit less than what you're worth. Whether it's in love, whether it's in, your career or in your financial situation. Now, this goes really deep because this isn't necessarily saying like you're intentionally accepting less than what you deserve. A lot of times we do that without even realizing it because we think that we can't have anything better. So we hold on to what we have, white knuckled grip because we're so afraid of losing what we have, even if letting go might actually move us toward better things. And I feel like with this Shift Your Energy card, that's what the universe was trying to do. But with this vulnerability card, I feel like it required you, or does require you, to be very vulnerable, and that's really difficult for anybody. So I feel like the energy is about moving you toward what aligns with your worth more than what you have experienced to this point. But a lot of times that can just feel like loss. It can just feel like things just aren't working out for us. But let's see where you're at in your current energy, Gemini. Current energy for Gemini. Seek beauty, intuition. I don't feel like I have the full picture yet. Let me pull one more card. Because I get what it's saying, but it feels... Oh, okay. Okay. So your intuition is trying to guide you toward, which we already talked about, right? But the way that it feels has been, there's been an experience of a lot of, I feel like, lack and loss in your current energy, and not just like in your current energy, but also where you've been. So I feel like this is something you've been struggling with for a while, Gemini. And the Seek Beauty card is asking you, and this isn't always easy, but it's asking you to look at the bigger picture of your current circumstances or of what has been going on in your life. Because I do feel like, I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason, and typically a good reason, as long as we are willing to hold out to find out what that reason is. And a lot of times it can be hard because we are so used to things going wrong that it's hard to believe that things can actually go right for us. But a lot of the times the reason that things go wrong is because the universe isn't going to let you, stay in situations that don't align with your worth or value, meaning that you're not going to find success in what it is that you desire if you're accepting less than what it is that you deserve. So sometimes we don't even realize that what we desire doesn't actually fully align with what it is that we are truly worth, right? Like we kind of talked about in your past energy. So your current energy is about shifting your focus on this, or I guess shifting your perspective on where you're at and trying to trust that you're being taken to better places and better spaces, even if your current circumstances do not look like it at all. Because I do feel like this is a big, there's something big changing in your life, either in this past energy or in this current energy. There's some big change here that either has happened or needs to happen. And the change requires you to let go of less than what you deserve to open up to what it is that you really deserve. Either the universe is pushing you into this change without your permission, like you don't necessarily want it, or you're creating it. I feel like it just kind of depends on your personal situation. And I feel like you're being asked to trust that things are moving or are changing for the better, because it does feel like they are. But it might not feel like that in your actual circumstances. So what does Gemini need to know moving forward? Trust your own understanding and higher ground, and then illumination. To me, this is, it all makes sense. Ideal course of action, leap of faith. Like, to me, this is like, this whole journey, this whole path will make sense when you get to where you're going. And where you're going is where you want to be. You just might not realize it yet. Where you're going is where you want to be. So things are changing for the better, but it might either feel like they're changing for the worse, or you aren't able to see how they're changing for the better yet. But I feel like as you move forward on this path, because wherever you're going is like with this ideal course of action, it's like this is the right path for you. Then that will be illuminated. That will become clear when you get to where you're going. And this higher ground to me is this representation of like wherever it is going to be better than where you've been. Whatever you're gaining is going to be better than what you've lost. Whatever's in front of you is going to be better than what's behind you. You might not know that yet, though. And a lot of times that's kind of the point, right? Having the faith. I mean, you literally have leap of faith. So I don't know where this is taking you, Gemini, but it feels really good. I mean, I just saw that in this Seek Beauty card, these all have numbers, and this number is 44. And 44 to me, like just is that angel number that always represents that you're being guided, kind of like a wink from the universe to say, like, we've got your back. So you might be seeing 444 a lot, potentially. I feel like also just in terms of these messages, it's like you are being very guided. So I don't necessarily know. Well, I guess we're about to dive into tarot. We're about to get a little bit deeper into the situation to see if we can tie some of this together. But let's get the overall theme of this reading for you, Gemini. Overall theme of this reading. What Gemini needs to know in order to move forward in alignment with their higher self. Boundaries. Protecting yourself right now is key. Because I feel like, and that's where I feel like there's the power. That's where I feel like this past energy here, because we talked about accepting less than what you deserve, right? And maybe not even realizing that that's what you were doing. And I feel like this boundaries card is about really sticking up for your worth in a way that basically gets you to a place where you are unwilling to settle for anything less than what you deserve. That's where your power truly lies. You have this power card here, so you have boundaries and power. Your power, isn't about controlling the people around you. It's not getting people to treat you like you deserve. It's about saying, I am not going to settle for being treated less, in a way that's less than what I deserve. And I am, being willing to walk away, being willing to separate yourself or create distance between yourself and the things that don't align with your worth. And a lot of times what that means is knowing that you are deserving of more. And I think that that's what maybe you're doubting, and not necessarily doubting it in the sense that like you just don't know your worth at all, but more so in the sense that you've probably, like I said, experienced a lot of kind of things not going wrong or things not going well. And when you experience things not going well so many times, it's hard to believe things can get better. Right? But if our reality, and this is kind of paradoxical, but if our reality is a reflection of what we believe is possible, but we accept less than what it is that we deserve because we believe that that's all that's possible, but then that doesn't work out, we're going to add to the belief that what we deserve isn't possible, right? So in order for us to really break out of that experience, we have to stop the cycle in its tracks, and we have to recognize that our life isn't a reflection of what's true, but what we believe is true. Your life isn't a reflection of your potential. Your life is a reflection of what you believe your potential is. So I saw something the other day that was like, the sky is not the limit, your belief system is. And I feel like this is about understanding that, and I always kind of joke that manifestation is easy. You need two things. You need to get very clear on what it is you want and deserve and accept absolutely nothing less than that. Say no to anything that isn't that. I joke because that's not so easy in practice. It's easy in theory, but I feel like this is about allowing wherever your life is, because it does feel like there are changes that are necessary in your life right now. And I feel like it's about opening yourself up to these changes and trusting that they are going to take you to the right places. What does Gemini need to know? We're diving into tarot now. Let's go back to this past energy. You have shift your energy with you are worth it. What does Gemini need to know about this past energy here? Your life can only get as good as you believe it can get. And I know this from my own personal experiences. Every single time my life improved, it was because I took steps in believing that it could. And sometimes it didn't always improve right away in my timeline or in the ways that I expected. But if I kept showing up in that belief, eventually things would improve. But it required me to show up in that belief in order for things to change. So what does Gemini need to know about this past energy? Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Feeling unsettled, feeling ungrounded, feeling unstable. The Page of Pentacles. Which to me is kind of this energy of like contemplation, holding an opportunity or something in your hand. Okay. So there's a lot of disappointment here in this past energy. And a lot of holding on to things because they provided you or provide you with a sense, even if it's a false sense, of security. And a lot of times what a false sense of security is staying in a relationship that deep down you know isn't right for you, but being afraid of being alone. Staying in a job where you were completely disrespected, and like in terms of like not looking for other opportunities because you don't think that you can have them. So this is what this energy is about. It feels like holding on to something. Even though there's so much disappointment here, holding on to something because it brought you a sense of security. And we have all done this, okay? So this is nothing to be ashamed of. This isn't just a Gemini thing. This is a human nature thing. We have a tendency to hold on what doesn't really serve us or isn't really aligned with our worth because we think we have to. It's what survival mode is all about. But what this reading is about breaking out of the limiting reality that your limiting beliefs have taught you that you are capable of having. And I feel like this past energy, a lot of times things don't work out so that better things can work out, right? Some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. But if we don't, what happens a lot of the times if we're not aware of this is we'll repeat the same pattern. So we'll go back to the same type of relationship, we'll still continue to accept less than what we deserve, hoping that it's going to work out. But since the universe doesn't allow us to settle where we're not meant to settle, it won't work out. And you're going to wonder why you can't have what it is that you desire when the universe is wondering why you won't choose to believe you're worthy of more. The universe isn't going to let you to have what you desire in places that don't align with your worth, right? And I think sometimes we have to be willing to recognize that. And sometimes that's hard in the midst of the change. And maybe this is about just being honest with yourself that change needs to happen. But I do feel like this disappointment and this past energy, it wasn't necessarily the universe saying you can't have what you deserve, you can't have what you want. It's the universe saying you need to believe that you're worthy of more than what you've been willing to accept to this point. And that's why I feel like you're being asked to look at what's going on in your life with a different perspective so that you don't keep going back to the same situations or same cycles that won't bring you what you desire because it's not what you deserve. Current energy for Gemini, intuition will seek beauty. So what does Gemini need to know about their current energy? Current energy for Gemini. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so there's a lot of anxiety in your current energy. A lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of, okay. Okay, here's what's going on. So 4 of Wands, Ace of Wands in reverse, and then the 9 of Swords. You have this 3 of Cups on the bottom, which this 3 of Cups to me always represents like where you belong, the places that you belong, the relationships you belong in, the careers you belong in, the financial situation you belong in. Things in your life are changing, and you're being asked to step out of your comfort zone to make a lot of changes. And if you're not making those changes, I feel like those changes are being made for you, which probably is like twice as scary, right? Because you might not really recognize why things are happening the way that they are. The universe, like if you look at it from like a bigger picture perspective, the universe is trying to turn things in your favor, trying to make things better. But in order to do that, it has to not give you the outcomes that you were hoping for, because the outcomes that you were hoping for don't align with your worth. They're not as good as things can get. So to the universe, things are improving. To you, it feels as if things are getting worse or not working out, right? And I think that that's where you're being asked to shift your perspective, because if you're not careful, and maybe this has happened in the past, you might get yourself back into the exact same circumstances, the exact same situations, and therefore the exact same outcomes. Because this 4 of Wands to me is about this just like destination for your life. Like the universe has a destination in mind for you. And you're being asked to really surrender to this destination, but that requires you to let go of your idea of how things are supposed to be right now. And I think that, what is that? There's a quote. It's like, peace is the result of retraining your mind to process life as it is rather than as you think it should be. And there's so much about that, right? But the biggest thing is to recognize that a lot of times, even when things aren't what we want them to be, or where things aren't what we expect them to be, maybe things are actually exactly what they're supposed to be, but we're just not able to see it yet. And that's what this future energy is about. Your future energy is all about getting to the place where you get there and you go, I'm so glad that things happened the way that they did. And I hear this from people all the time. They go, I was so devastated when that relationship ended, but now I've met the love of my life and I am beyond happy that things didn't go the way that I thought I wanted them to. Where I was losing my job was one of the hardest things that ever happened to me. But look at where I'm at now. I would never be where I'm at now if that hadn't have happened. You know, I hear this all the time, and I've experienced it in my own personal life too. You know, Redirection is divine protection and redirection towards your highest good. We hear it all the time in spirituality, but when we're living it, it's not so easy to see it that way. So I feel like this is about really opening yourself up to understanding that, sure, things probably aren't going the way that you expected, and there's probably a lot of anxiety associated with that. But the universe is moving you to better. And surrendering to this is that's where your power lies, right? And I think that that's what the lesson in all of this is understanding that if you accept less than what you deserve, if you accept less than what you're worth, it's not going to work out in your favor. Because it's not supposed to work out in your favor. Because you're not going to be able to settle and find peace and abundance and all the things that you deserve in places that don't align with your value. And sometimes we don't even realize that we were accepting less than we deserve until we get to where we're going and we go, I can't even believe that I thought that's as good as it was going to get. And I feel like that's what this future energy is all about. What does Gemini need to know moving forward? Because to me, this feels like everything's going to work out in your favor. Even if it's not the way you expect. Does Gemini need to know moving forward? The High Priestess, the Seven of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands. Oh, this is cool. The Nine of Cups with the Two of Pentacles and the Judgment. Okay. This is really cool. I think what you're not seeing yet is that there are better opportunities that you don't even know exist. And this, they appear. They will appear. In your future energy, they absolutely will appear. As long as you don't go back to less than what you deserve. This is about breaking out of old cycles and being open to better. And as long as you are willing to do that, and that kind of goes back to what I said, like get really clear on what you want and deserve and say no to anything that isn't that, it's going to appear. But the thing is, what you deserve hasn't been able to appear because your space, your energy has been taken up by what you don't. And so the universe kind of had to force you into letting go of what you don't deserve to open yourself up to what you do. And right now, I feel like through this process, you're really being asked to step into your power to protect your worth from what it is that doesn't deserve your worth. To recognize that these things didn't work out in the past, not because you're not worth it, not because you can't have these things, but because you're worthy of more. And that's why I think this is so cool, is because it's almost like the universe, I'm just trying to think of, this is kind of a silly example, but say that your favorite ice cream is like a hot fudge sundae. I don't know where that's stemming from. Your favorite ice cream is a hot fudge sundae. And you get a scoop of vanilla. Or you ask the universe, can I have a scoop of vanilla ice cream? Because you see the menu. That's all that you see is possible, just a scoop of vanilla ice cream. The universe is like, no, you deserve your vanilla sundae. And you're like, but I don't see it on the menu. It doesn't seem possible. I don't see how it's possible. I can't bring that. The universe is like, just wait. But if you accept this, just this one scoop of vanilla ice cream, you can't get your hot fudge sundae. And so it's almost like the universe is just saying, just trust that you don't want to settle for what you think you want or what you think you wanted in the past, because there's so much better available for you in the future. And it's like you get there and you go, and it literally feels like the epitome of some of God's greatest gifts is unanswered prayers. It's like you get there and you're like, I am so glad that things didn't work out the way that I thought I wanted them to. And I've experienced this, like I said, in my own personal life in so many different ways, but in particular in my relationships. My romantic relationships. There were so many times in the past where I was like, I'm never going to be happy. I'm never going to experience love again. Things are never going to be as good as that. And then I met my husband and I look back at those relationships and I'm like, I can't believe that I thought that that's as good as it got. And I think that that's what's so interesting in the universe is always preparing you for what it is you truly deserve by teaching you not to accept less But sometimes it feels like loss and it feels like disappointment because we don't understand that the universe is trying to move us toward better. But I feel like that's what you'll kind of start to see in this future energy as things continue to unfold. So, okay, Gemini, we're going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to dive deeper into these messages, looking at what you need to do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. So focusing on some more tangible advice. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you guys so much, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Gemini.